Okay, this is James Jopling again with Shoppa's John Deere, and we're going to review some bearing components for our 2021 tractor competition, AgTech tractor comp. Okay, this radial ball bearing, just very simple. Just everybody's pretty well familiar with these, and they're used on everything worldwide. Okay, first question. If a radial ball bearing installation on a shaft alone must be pressed from the outer race. No, if you're going to push it onto a shaft, you must use the inner race. If you use the outer race pushing down, you can cause brinelling, which is you're going to be putting little minor tiny dents into the race, which will cause premature failure. Okay, next question is false. A radial ball bearing uses conical rollers. These are ball bearings, round rollers. Now, the next question is true. Brinelling is a condition caused due to incorrect installation, which causes small indentations on the inner and outer races, which can cause premature failure. We went over that in the first question, but yes, it definitely will put tiny little indentations. Now, the next question is false. If one does not preload a ball bearing, it will fail due to improper clearance. Now, generally, ball bearings are not preloaded whatsoever. A conical will be, but not radial ball bearings. Okay, next question is false. If a radial ball bearing must be cleaned and blown with high pressure air, spinning as fast as possible to ensure all debris is cleaned out. That's definitely false. That is definitely a safety issue, safety hazard. If you start it spinning, it can potentially just disintegrate, come apart. So no, you just blow it off lightly with air. You don't ever start spinning it at a high speed. Okay, that is all of which we have on the radial ball bearing. Now we're going to get to the conical bearing. Tiny little bearing here. Taper roller. And the first question on that is false. The outer race displays loss of lubrication. It has no real scoring or anything. It's got a lot of wear on it, but nothing to indicate that there was lack of lubrication. The next question is false. A spherical ball bearing can withstand greater loads than a taper roller bearing. That's just quite the opposite, actually. A taper roller bearing can withstand a lot greater forces and loads than can a radial ball bearing, such as this. Now, you see this on a lot of the larger axles and different applications as such. It can withstand much more. Now, the next question, if the preload is set too tight, it may cause premature bearing failure. Yes, if you push these two against each other too tightly, which this is going to fit in there, if you're preloading, you're actually forcing these two together. And if that force is excessive, then it can potentially lead to premature failure. Next question. A taper roller can only be lubricated with grease. You have oil lubricated, grease, just, practically anything along that line. So it can be lubricated multiple different ways. The last question is false. A taper roller bearing must always be positive, have a positive preload. That's false. You can have zero preload. It can be a neutral or zero preload. In other words, no extra pressure forcing the two together. It can be just kind of a neutral. But anyway, that is all the questions of which we have for taper rollers.